the room. And we're going to come to the edge of a blanket or a cushion. Oh, well, let's get started. Are we good? Great. So we're going to come to that edge of the blanket. The sits bones here are the anchor. And if you want to put your hands to your lower back to begin with, let's rub the hands together to warm things. Here in the Bay Area, it's been quite chilly, so let's warm those hands. And then place the hands on the lower back and just feel that warmth. And notice if there's a curve in the lower back. If there is no curve, if it's sort of going backwards, then you want to make sure to sit up higher on that blanket. You can choose to be in kneeling position, like so, or in cross-legged. And if you're in cross-legged, again, just check in that you're on the edge of the blanket. As we go through the seated practice, if you want to switch legs at any time, that's great too. Make yourself comfortable. This should feel like a mini spa experience. So let's close the eyes and come into our basics of yoga, the breath. The hands drop to the thighs. And then we begin to notice the breath. You can brush away all thoughts for now. Just spend a few moments observing what the breath is telling you today. The autonomic breath is always with us. And in yoga, we take some time to explore the messages we're getting. Maybe it's cool or warm. Maybe it's a little shallow. Notice with each in-breath and with each out-breath, you relax a little bit more, the thighs drop more to the earth, coming into a stillness of the mind, of the body and spirit, coming into alignment of that mind, body, and spirit. So let's talk about the physical alignment for a moment. In the mind's eye, go to the tailbone at the bottom of the spine, tucked in between those sits bones as your anchor, your roots to the earth. As you continue an inhale and an exhale. And then we'll travel up the spine, each of those intricate vertebrae up the spine, past the curve of the lower back, up towards the shoulder blades and the mid back. And the shoulder blades just roll down the back towards the earth. And then traveling up the spine towards the neck, you get to that curve of the neck. And as you pass the shoulders, you feel the shoulders roll down away from the ears. That nape of the neck grows a little taller. And then finally, the top of the spine inside the skull, pointing us upward to the crown of the head. Do you already feel a little bit taller? I hope so. We'll align the skull and the sacrum. The breath traveling up and down the spine, nourishing and replenishing. Let's bring the fingertips beside you on the mat. So feel those roots through the fingertips. You're going to press into the mat, spider hands. Here you have an additional support through the fingertips. Continue that path of breath. And now see if you can even out the breath into even counts on the in-breath. A 5 count. And on the out breath, another 5 count. A few moments here with that even breath. If it's uncomfortable at all or causes any discomfort, you can come back to automatic breath and just witnessing your breath. Let's reach a nice balance today through our poses and through our breath. Coordinate and harmonize all the systems through the breath and the body. Pressing through those fingertips, feel the space expand in between the vertebrae. And then you can flutter the eyes open, warm your hands again. Maybe switch the cross of the legs. And then just massage with that warmth of the hands, your thighs, your calves, shins. And then brush your arms with those warmth of the hands, having that nice contact. This past year, we've kind of gotten out of touch with being able to touch. So let's be kind to ourselves with that. And then let's reach up towards the clouds in the sky or whatever's up there today. Reach up through those hands. And as you reach up through the arms, make sure you expand the side body. So through the torso, get taller. Inhale, feel the expansion of the breath and exhale. And then clasp your fingers together and take the palms up towards the sky. Really reach through the palms. Inhale and exhale. As you exhale, notice that the shoulders drop away from the ears. And then begin with the sits bones anchored, swaying side to side. Inhaling on the rise and exhaling as you sway the other direction. Adding more space between those ribs on each side. Follow your breath as your rhythm. Great, I see those shapes out there. Excellent. And then reach up a little bit more on our inhale and exhale. Let's bring the palms forward and bring them down behind the skull at the base of the skull. So sort of cup your skull with those hands. And feel, as you do that, a little bit of support through the hands and then also a little tiny millimeter upwards, giving a little expansion to that spine upwards, lengthening. Great, and as you do this, let's turn the head to the right. So we're exploring our neck range with the support of the hands, turning over to the right, inhaling back through center. Let's exhale and turn over to the left, over the left shoulder, back through center. And again, take that trip again, see if there's a little more room this time. Inhale through center, exhale as you turn. And then come back to center. And this time with that same support and the elbows out, we'll take our right ear towards the right shoulder. So what this support allows is that extra lengthening of the vertebrae as we come to the side. So it's a nice clean arc to one side. As you do this, take your left eye, we're on the right shoulder here, so take the eyes and look up diagonally to the left, towards that left elbow. And hold that for a brief moment. Exhale. And then come back up to center. Exhale to the other side. So we're going to take the left ear towards the left shoulder. And if this is uncomfortable for your arms or your shoulders, just drop the hands. Take your eyes and look up towards the right diagonal. That's the right elbow. Hold that gaze a moment. And then look forward and come up to center. Stay here for another moment while we butterfly our arms. We're going to open up the elbows a little wider. The heart space in the front opens up. You can look up at the ceiling, supporting your head. And then exhale, let's squeeze the elbows together and you can begin to arc the back. So the back arches towards the back of the room. How close can your elbows get? And then inhale, open up as if that was a butterfly on a leaf. Inhale, open, and exhale, close. Again, travel up the spine as you arc forward. And open one more time and exhale. As you bring those shoulders, that elbows together, you can feel that expansion across the upper back. Great job. Release your fingers, reach up one more time. Let's take the palms together, and then we're going to come down. Elbows come out wide. We're bringing the thumb towards the midline of the body. So travel through that midline, the forehead, the nose, past the mouth, the neck, and down to our heart. Beautiful. And then we'll take the arms out wide in a T. And we're going to take Proud Warrior later. For now, we'll take Proud Warrior hands, arms. So let's look over the right fingertips along the length of that right arm. And then we're going to press the left palm into an imaginary wall. Inhale. Exhale, expand and feel the buzz along the left arm. And maybe slide that left hand back towards the back of your room. We're flossing the nerves that get a little trapped when we are on computers and such. And then slide that forward, gaze forward, bring our arms back to the T. Inhale, exhale, let's look over the left fingertips. Nice still point with the eyes. And then take the right hand and press against an imaginary wall. And feel that buzz. Slide the right hand against that wall behind you. Undoing some of that, those trapped nerve paths. Come back to center gaze, bring the arms out to a T. See how tall you can get in that horizontal direction. Beautiful. And then we'll take the palms behind you. Bend the right elbow and then bring the forearm behind your back. So you might want to take the back of your right hand to your sacrum so that your elbow's out here. Or you might want to take that hand all the way over to the left hip, depending on your expansion through that shoulder. Let's drop the left hand to the mat and then turn to your right. So we're turning first with the ribs. Take the left fingertips to the mat in front of your left knee. Just turn over with a twist. On the exhale, twists the spine, rotating on your mobility, availability, and come back through. Expand the arms long again, bend the left elbow, bring that hand behind you, either on the sacrum or over to the right hip. Take the right fingertips beside you and begin to turn to the left. Spinal twist, and maybe bring the right fingertips in front of the knee. And then turn your shoulders. If you want to look over behind you, at the end there. Exhale, squeeze that air out. Come back to center, and then because so much ergonomic focus lately, let's give our wrists some nice relief. So imagine that you're turning faucets in front of you, and then let's have a nice royal wave, the royal member of your choice. And then reach up, hallelujah, arms to the sky, look up. So we have a slight back bend there. Yes, excellent. And then bring the hands down and we'll switch to our cat-cow. So we're going to take our tabletop position. Oh, I got to face the other way. I like to cushion my knees with a blanket under the knees. So you're going to bring your knees below the hips. So the shins are really your base here. You're not pushing those knees into the mat. Rather, the shins are your support. And then bring the hands forward, wrists below the shoulders. And we'll take our luxurious cat-cow. But first, let's find the neutral spine. Your spine is now in that horizontal plane. Your index fingers pointing up towards the top of the mat. And you've got that strong base below you. Your crown of the head is reaching in that horizontal plane. Find your tailbone and your curve in the lower back, your sits bones. Let's align them. And also take the navel and Let's see if the navel can reach towards the spine slightly so that you have a nice core support. That is your neutral spine. And now inhale, tuck the tailbone under and travel up the spine as you reach the back of the ribs up towards the sky. Nice slow cat here. And then look down at your knees. And you feel that full expansion behind you on your back. Exhale, let's lift the tailbone, travel up the spine as the navel drops to the floor, towards the floor. Shoulder blades come together and then look up into cow. And now this is your solo, so you can just take your own breath and go in between cat and cow. As you inhale, go into cat. And as you exhale, go into cow. Take a few rotations here, finding your own breath and your own rhythm here. If you can, filter in the breath through the nose and exhale out the mouth, that's great. Let's find the neutral spine again in our horizontal plane. And let's find that stability. One more cue here is to imagine squeezing your favorite magazine rolled up under your armpit and then squeeze down on that magazine as if you were carrying it. Now, do you feel that engagement of the shoulders as you squeeze down towards the ribs? That's your engaged shoulder complex there. So inhale, and we're going to do a quad stretch. So we're going to lift the right knee off the floor, sole of the foot to the sky. Your leg is in kind of a right angle there, upwards. And now, if you can balance on your right hand, release the left hand and see if you can find your foot back there for a quad stretch. So what we're doing is keeping the hips even here as they face the floor, those hip bones. So maybe you started to go up or down. See if you can even that out as if you wanted to balance your cup of tea on your sacrum and point your tailbone towards the bottom of the mat so you can get a quad stretch. If you can't reach, that's okay. You can just reach that foot towards the ceiling and you're still getting a quad stretch. On your next exhale, let's meet back down in our neutral spine again, all fours. Take one nourishing breath here. Exhale, and then we'll lift the left knee off the floor, sole of the foot to the sky. Find your balance here, and then release the right hand. Maybe you find your left foot back there for a quad stretch. And press the foot into the hand so you can really feel that expansion through the quad. Point the tailbone as if it were an arrow pointing down towards the bottom of the mat. And then come back down, and we'll take our side trip here. So just sway side to side through the spine. And then when you come back to neutral, close the eyes, take a breath, and notice where your spine would need a little bit more attention and more expansion. So it's again, your solo. So you can just do whatever you need to do. If you want to go sway side to side, another cat-cow, maybe take the hips side to side, something in this position from this base that makes your spine happy. Check in with the breath. Beautiful. So we're going to switch now, and we're going to go up into a high kneeling position. So I recommend still keeping that blanket, but take the blanket to the middle of the mat so that you're facing sideways on your mat. And stay on the all fours. Place the shins down on the blanket, and then bring the torso up. So we're up in our high kneeling position. Make sure there's an even surface underneath you. For example, my blanket's got some lumps, so I'm going to even that out. And Make sure that we're symmetrical there. Okay, so again, the shins are your base here. Your knees are about hip width apart. Great. Take the hands to the lower back again. Feel the elbows reach behind you. So now you've got that expansion across the chest as you tuck those low ribs in, and then you got the core support. So that's the formula. Open the heart, tuck the low ribs in, and everything's supported with your bigger muscles. Exhale, and we'll take the hands to the hips. And now we're going to take our modified gait pose. So we're going to take our weight onto the left side, reach the right foot out to the side, lengthen that right leg beside you. So that arch of the right foot is in line with the left knee. So find the evenness here. Keep those hands on the hips. The tailbones reaching down towards the floor, and find your stability here. Press through the right foot. Good job. And then inhale, bring the arms up towards the sky. So we grow long before we go to the side, lengthen up, and then we're going to lean towards that right foot. Reach the right arm down, place that hand on the right leg, and then lean over to your right. Inhale, expand, exhale, release down. Find the connection between that left shin and your right foot. Like as if there's a magnet between them, just connect them. And that's your center point. Inhale, swing that left arm over to the side, and then we'll begin to take ourselves over to the left side. The left hand is going to come down to the mat, or if you want to use a block, you can do that too. And keep that right foot planted. Take the right hand to the right hip. So here we are on the side. You can take your left hand a couple of inches out from your shoulder, and that might relieve some pressure if we use that balancing point. You got that? Okay, so we're here in the base, and we're going to reach the right arm up to the sky. And then exhale, we'll take that right arm next to the right ear. Another point, opportunity to really get long. Sweep that hand back to the hip. And I'd like to practice half moon here. So this is modified. We usually do that standing. So let's lift the right foot off the floor, press on an imaginary wall on that side, and see how far you can get that foot off the floor and reach that right arm up to the sky. So what you want to do is bring the gaze forward to a still point and get steady. Exhale and inhale. Find the steady point here in this practice balance. Only don't over effort it. If you want to keep your foot down, that's totally fine. Take your hand to the hip, and then with that core strength, we're going to release the left hand and come back up to vertical. And then with our, again, tapping into that center point, let's bring the right leg in to our high kneeling again. Take a little break, sit back on your heels. If you were using a block, move it to the other side. Inhale, let's come up. And we'll try the other side. So we're going to take the weight onto the right side, take the left foot out. Great. Align the arch with the knee there. And find your center. Magnetize that foot to the shin. And then we'll take the arms up to the sky for extra length, because whenever we bend, we want to lengthen first. Exhale, let's reach the left hand towards the left foot and lean over to the left. With each inhale, the torso, the ribs expand. With each exhale, the body grounds more into the earth, just feeling that support below you. One more round of breath. And then sweep the right arm up towards the sky. And then we'll go to the other side. So the right hand starts to come down towards the block or the mat. Take the left hand to the hip. And then keep your left foot on the floor, gaze forward, find a still point. And then you can practice this balance. So lift the left foot off the floor. And if you can, imagine pressing your left foot into a wall. So you have that support there. Lift the left arm to the sky and find a balance. Where is that point below the navel that's kind of your support, your center support? Find stillness in the balance here. Take the left hand to the hip, bring that left foot back down, and then press up, back to vertical. And bring your knee in, and we'll take the hands to the lower back in this vertical position. Press the fingertips down towards your knees. So in the lower back here, press down, and then we'll look, the elbows are behind you, and you take this opening opportunity through the heart. Shoulders roll away from you, and you look up towards the sky. Imagine that your heart has eyes, and they're looking up. Inhale. Press down through those fingertips, and then exhale, come back up, and we'll switch to all fours. Let's move the blanket aside because we're going to come up through downward dog. And props aside. Keep the block handy if you have one. And take all fours, but let's move the hands outward towards the top of the mat. And then we're going to curl the back toes under. Pressing through the hands, again, those magazines under your armpits, keep those engaged as you lift the knees off the mat and the ribs to the thighs, keep the knees bent. Inhale, get really long through the spine, reaching behind you. And let's take your right heel towards the earth. Inhale, bend the knee, and then we'll take the left heel towards the earth. So this is a hamstring opener, but take it easy. Pedal and walk the dog. Downward dog. Inhale, exhale. Get long. It's a full body pose here, so take a tour of the whole body here. And then begin to walk the feet towards the hands, keep the knees bent. Come to the top of your mat. And you can keep the rib cage towards the thighs now, just hang the head down. Take the thumbs to the elbow creases, and you can release your head down. Imagine that your brain is a muscle, and you just can relax it. Look at the world upside down. If you have a block, place that block just above your thighs on that narrow position. Squeeze gently on the block. Keep the knees bent. Bring your back up into a horizontal flat position. If you inhale, puff up, feel the back body. Squeeze the block. Take the hands to the hips, and as you squeeze the block, that's kind of getting those muscles engaged, hinging up to standing. Inhale. Exhale in mountain position. Let's take a moment here to get your equilibrium as we come up to standing. Remove the block. And then come to the middle of your mat. So we're going to take a wide stance. First, let's just stand in mountain pose, establishing ourselves in our standing position. So the feet are hip width apart, and we've got the knees hip width apart, everything. Let's visit that alignment again. Just take the arms alongside the body. Your feet, spread the feet out wide, spread the toes out wide. You're in the sand, a little bit of wet sand, so you want to make a perfect footprint. When you take your foot away, there's beautiful, excellent, picture perfect footprint on the sand. And then feel the energy up through the midline of the body. So it's coming in between the feet, up through the midline in front of the spine, a light shining upward, your core like an elevator coming up to support that upward motion. Your glutes are squeezing. to support you. And then reaching, those shoulders roll away from the ears and the crown of the head reaches upward. Beautiful. Find the length. And then take the hands to the hips and we'll take a wide stance. If you want to jump to that wide stance, you can do that, or you can just step out into wide stance. So much wider than hip width, we'll be taking our proud warrior and things like that. So if you want to use a block for triangle, and you generally do have that handy, and also have your strap handy, we'll play with that a little bit. First, let's take the wide stance and then turn the toes out to about 30 to 45 degrees. And you want your knees to always track over those middle two toes. So if you're finding that there's any, they're not aligning, bring your feet in a little bit, bring your toes in a little bit more. Inhale, hands on the hips. Exhale, let's bend the knees into our plie, goddess, victory, horse stance. We have like 4 names for this pose. Okay, come down, the tailbone's reaching downward. And then bring your hands up into cactus hands. Inhale big, and on the exhale, stick the tongue out. It's lion's breath. Sigh it out. And feel that support underneath you. So you're pressing through the feet. Feel the connection between the feet. Find the midline of the body. Hold this so we can get our quads in action, our glutes strengthened. Keep the arms up so we can keep them toned. Inhale and exhale. Be that strong victory goddess pose. And then come on up, straighten the legs, hands to the hips, and we'll take the feet parallel again and take a nice long side bend. So we're going to go to the left. The weight is going to go into the left. Come towards mountain pose here on the left. Take your right foot behind the left. And so it's crossed over. Bend, a slight bend in that front knee, pressing through the right foot strongly. Reach the arms up to the sky. Take your left hand and grab your right wrist and lean over towards that left foot. Extra length. So imagine a nice arc from your foot, the right foot, to the right fingertips. Inhale, expand, exhale, release. And then sweep open again to mountain and then to wide stance again. Take the left toes and point them to the side. And take the left heel, align it with the arch of the right foot. Then place your block next to your left foot if you want to keep that balance there. Keep the hands on the hips, and we're taking our graceful triangle here. So if you take the left hand to the top of the left thigh, you're going to hinge from that point. So the pelvis is spilling over, grow tall through the spine. Exhale, lean over towards the left foot, but grow long. So we've already done a lot of lengthening, so this should be pretty easy symmetry aligning through both sides. Press into that top thigh so you can really grow out from there. And you're plugging that femur bone into the hip socket. Get that length first before you take the left hand down to the block, your shin, or the floor. And then we'll take the right thumb into the right armpit. Get long. Use that little leverage there to get long. And then reach the right arm up towards the sky. Notice if your collarbones are tight or if your shoulders are up towards the ears, bring them down. Keep the gaze soft and look at a still point in the distance. Follow the breath. Triangle. I see all that geometry out there, looking great. Inhale and exhale. And then on the inhale, allow that air to keep bringing up, back to standing, hands to hips. Keep that same alignment, and we're going to drop the hips down as we bend the left knee towards those middle two toes. Watch that alignment. Drop the hips down, and you're not leaning back. not leaning forward, staying nice and strong in the center, finding our foundation below, like a bridge. So we've got that foundation and the flexibility on top. Open out the arms into that familiar T, and then look over the left fingertips. Inhale, exhale, connect with your feet, connect them together. Look at what's in front of you, feel what's behind you, and find your center. Proud warrior. And then bring the gaze forward again, hands to the hips, and bring the feet parallel. Grab your strap if you'd like to play with the strap. Again, this is the point where I want you to make sure if you have any balancing issues that you have a little chair nearby to hold on to. We're going to take the strap, and if you don't have a strap, you can still do this without a strap. You can definitely practice balance without it. So take the strap underneath the ball of the right foot. We're kind of staying in that same wide stance. And with both of the sides of the strap in your right hand, just using that as leverage there, okay? Now you're gonna bring the left toes into that alignment we had, so the nice side alignment there into that proud warrior stance. And we're gonna try to come toward our half moon, but using this strap, if the strap bothers you, you can just not use it. But we're gonna use that kind of press through the ball of the foot into the strap to help the balance. So bend the left knee towards the middle two toes, always keep that aligned. Begin to tiptoe your right foot towards the left. Gaze down, let's reach the left arm long on the diagonal plane and just look down that direction and see if you can let go of the weight on the right foot, pressing through the strap to bring you that connection on the right side. Inhale, exhale, and just play with that balance as we move towards a half moon pose. But we're going to begin to straighten that front leg. Sorry if I didn't say that. So this is what we're looking like. If you're confused, just play with it. And then you can bring the gaze forward if that works for you, holding on to any chair, whatever you want to. The real point on some of these balances is to keep the gaze on something still. So not on your cat or moving objects. And just play. And come down. Release the strap. Come into our goddess pose again. Feet out to the side, inhale. Grow long, exhale, bend the knees, arms up. Inhale, exhale, lion's breath, sigh it out. And then come on up. We'll take our triangle to the other side. Take the right toes out to the side, the left foot at an angle. Take that block and put it on the right side. Inhale, grow long, exhale, right hand to the top of the thigh. Spill over. Drape yourself over. Make sure you're long first. Take the left hand to the left thumb to the left armpit. Grow even longer. Reach up towards the sky, and then the right hand comes to the shin or the block. Gaze comes forward. Triangle. Shoulders roll away from the ears. Just feel yourself almost flying to the side. Through the spine. And then take the left hand to the hip. Inhale yourself back up and seamlessly let's flow right into that proud warrior. So bend the right knee towards the right two toes, middle two toes. Drop the hips. Look forward, bring the arms out to a T, find your center point, and then look over the right fingertips. Feel the connection between the feet. ease, maybe a smile on the face, confidence. Come back, straighten out that right knee, bring the toes forward, and we'll take that strap and play with that on this side, or you can try to practice your half moon without the strap too. Take the strap, this time we're on the left, underneath the ball of the left foot. Take both those straps in the left hand, and we'll point the right toes to the side again, aligning the front arch with the front heel with the back arch. And then look down, reach that right arm long, and then bend the right knee. Begin to tiptoe with your left toes forward. Maybe straighten, and then begin to straighten out the front leg as you let go of the weight on the left foot. Balance. Play with your gaze as well. You can come down, bring the gaze forward, and try it that way too. This is definitely one of the more challenging balance poses, which is why I'm trying it with this strap, pressing into, having me press the foot into a strap. The more connection points, the better. Up and down, playing with it. And then we'll meet in the center again. Let the strap to the side. And I'm going to flow through this with fewer cues. You can listen to your breath, and we're not going to have the strap, but you can imagine that that pressure is on your foot, so that'll help you pull into the midline. Inhale, exhale, goddess pose, hands up. And again, come up. Oh, we forgot our side bend, I'm sorry. I'll do that later. Let's take triangle to the left. Inhale, exhale, triangle. Reach that right arm up. Up to, back to standing, proud warrior. Gaze forward, hands on the hips. Find your version of half moon. Reach that foot back. Find the center again. Goddess. Come on up. Triangle to the right. Back up. Proud warrior. Hands to the hips. Practice that half moon. We'll meet back with our feet parallel, and let's take that mountain pose on the right. Take the left foot behind you, press down through that left foot, bend the front knee, bring the arms up, grab your left wrist with your right hand and lean over to the right. And then come back up, unwind yourself to mountain. Come to the top of the mat, Inhale the arms open, up towards the sky. Swan dive yourself down back to earth. Find your hands find the floor, bend the knees, and walk back to downward dog. Feet hip width apart. And then bring the knees down to the mat. And we'll meet on our back in a reclined position. Soles of the feet to the floor. Feet hip width apart. Knees hip width apart. Shoulders rolled underneath the body. So you get that opening across the chest. Plant the feet strongly. Lift the hips up towards the sky. Bridge pose. So pressing through the feet, that sand footprint, still active. Then let's clasp the fingers together like we did earlier. Let's see the full length of the arms on the mat as we reach the chest towards the chin. Feel the arc, this beautiful rainbow arc of the body. As you lift the hips up, the arch is really more in the mid and upper back. As you press the arms into the mat. Beautiful, strong bridge pose. Release the hands and roll yourself back down to earth. Snake the spine down. Sacrum is the last to land down. And here we are with our selves aligned along the mat. So we're on the horizontal plane. In your mind's eye, take yourself and really course it in the core of the body. And your back arch is lifted, the lower back is lifted off the mat. Now lift your right foot off the mat, a couple of inches, place it back down. Lift the left foot off the mat. Great, and put it down. Begin to pedal your feet. All the while, how stable can you keep the spine as you move the legs? Maybe you want to lift the foot a little higher, but as you do that, keep the legs in that right angle, bend. More geometry there, keeping 90-degree angles. If you start to strain through the back or you're anywhere, just go lower to the ground. Keep the feet lower. How about let's reach the arms up as if you were trying to reach a cloud, nice and long. And let's bring the arm movement to match the leg movement. If you want to challenge yourself more, you can just tap down instead of landing that foot down. Again, it's not so much just the challenge of the limbs, but how to keep that core stability. And when that starts to become compromised, you want to just ease off and go lower. You could even put on your favorite song sometime and just do this, and you'll get a core workout. Beautiful. Now bring everything down, soles of the feet down. Settle the spine, inhale, exhale, and then bring the knees to the chest. Give them a hug. Take the hands to the knees and press your knees into your hands and your hands into your knees. Give a little decompression to that lower back. And then take the knees and make circles away from each other in either direction. Outward direction. And then let's take the circles in the opposite direction. Great, let's take the knees together And then make the circles with the knees together. Circle in one direction, massaging that sacrum area at the bottom of the spine. And then let's take them the other direction. And then keeping the knees together, roll over onto your left side. We're going to do archer twist here, so it's a nice active twist. Let's make sure, do our geometry again, making sure that your pelvis is at a perpendicular angle to the floor, your thighs are a right angle to the body, and your shins are a right angle to the thighs. This is protecting your lower back. Take the palms together, and then we'll slide the right fingertips along the left arm. Take the right hand to the heart, elbow to the sky, turn the ribs over to the right, then the shoulders, then the head, and then maybe open up into T-arms and look over at your right hand. Pause for a moment and then come back. Bring that right hand back along the chest and back along the left arm to meet the left hand. Then you're going to pull back again as if you were pulling back on a bow and arrow, and then open up into your twist again. So let's keep this motion flowing, go back and forth. So bring that, sweep the right arm in, along the left arm, and back and forth. And this is a nice way to remind your spine to open up a little bit more. Don't take it too extreme. If you have some disc issues, just go light on this one. Don't twist too extremely. If there's any osteoporosis or anything like that, we just want to be easy on the twists. Keep it warm and active. Exhaling on as you close the hands together. And then we'll slow that down and we'll keep the knees together and come up to on your back and roll over onto the right side. Palms together. And then we'll take the left fingertips along the left right arm, hand to the heart, and then pull back like you were pulling back on a bow and arrow. And then open up the arms to a T, look over the left fingertips, and then bring it all back again. Back and forth, and this is one of those moments where it's your breath is your guide. Coming back to that symmetry of the breath, 5 in and 5 out. And as you close this down, we'll roll over onto our backs and just take the legs out long on the mat, coming to our active rest, which is a very valuable pose because it just seals all the practice in, all the cells of the body, finally kind of negotiate the movements we've created, and then just expand from there. So lay down on the mat, take the fist to the side of the mat and pull down towards the bottom of the mat, and you'll feel the shoulders will roll underneath you. You'll lengthen out even more. Release, palms to the sky. Take the arms out about 6 to 8 inches away from the body. Shimmy the shoulders underneath you so you really open up the heart. And lengthen one leg and then the other along the mat. Open up flop the feet out to the side. And then close the eyes and return to your breath. Find the natural breath. Take note of the difference between the breath from the beginning of our class to now. Maybe we've brought more balance to our system, a more evenness through the breath. And I'll do a body scan, bringing us into that awareness of the entire body. You don't have to think or do anything. Just hear my voice as I name off the parts of the body and release each part as I name them off. If your mind wanders, no worries. It's our meditation. Anything is allowed. Inhale. Exhale. Release the crown of the head, the scalp. Relax the forehead. Relax the eyes. Relax the cheeks and the mouth. Relax the tongue, the ears, the neck, shoulders, rib cage, the organs, the front of the spine, the back of the spine, the whole spine, the arms, the hands, fingers, the pelvis, the thighs. Relax the knees, the shins. Relax the heels, the ankles, the tops of the feet, the bottoms of the feet, and the toes. The whole body, the whole body, the whole body. Begin to wiggle the fingers and the toes. Bend the knees and the elbows. Roll over onto your right side, away from the heart, feeling a sense of ease through the body. Allow your hands to help you back up into a seated position. Take the palms to the heart. So we're going to cross the hands, the thumbs link. Inhale into your hands. Exhale, feeling the warmth of your heart. And then take the hands into prayer position. Thank you so much for joining me in this practice today. Namaste.